the other day I was scrolling TikTok, as I do, and I saw this quote and it really stuck with me. So we are basing our entire episode on this quote that I saw. I don't even know who it was. But basically what he was saying is a lot of times when people go to work on their marriage and their marriage isn't doing well, they go to couples counseling and they're like, okay, let's go to therapy. Like, we really need to work on this. And you guys both know that Abby and I are big fans of therapy. We would never talk negatively about it. But this guy, I think he was a therapist. He was like, the thing is, when you go to therapy, you basically talk about everything negative. And Drew and I have been to couples therapy. So, here's the thing we keep stubbing our toe on. And then you're going through your scenarios. You're both giving your examples. Your therapist is asking follow-up questions. Like, you're basically focused on the negative. And his point was, in long-term relationships, to have success, it actually might be smarter to focus on having fun again together. Because like fun bonds us to our partner and it makes for a good relationship. And so I really got to thinking about his example because in our own lives, a lot of us have probably experienced this. When you're dating your partner, when Drew and I were dating, lots of fun. I mean, every weekend we had a hoot. We were with our friends all the time. We were both very social people. We're having pool parties. Like, we were having the time of our lives. And then we got married and it was still very fun. A few changes. I was an overnight nurse. So I had a nursing job. It was overnight. That was actually really hard.
That's tough.
But still having a lot of fun doing our thing. Drew and I have a lot of common interests, which has always made our relationship really fun. In fact, we started as friends. And then you have kids. And kids, for me, was a time in my life where so much of my energy was used to be a mom that I wasn't seeking. And this is me reflecting back. I don't know this at the time, but the opportunities for fun and the opportunities for fun in our marriage went down so much because I'm telling you, I was so tired. You guys know that Abby and I are both very high sleep needs. So I was really tired. I was putting so much pressure on myself to be a really good mom. I had horrible mom guilt. So even if we would go out to dinner, I was in my head thinking about getting back to Max. And so fun definitely took a hit. And then when I think about that, I mean, there's a lot going on. But when I think about that, it was the hardest time in our marriage because also there's so much demand on you that your partner can way more easily annoy you. But I think what happens, if I may, is that a lot of people forget to then go back to the fun. So I'm not trying to convince you if you have really tiny kids that you're going to have all this time to have a lot of fun. But I think that we get in patterns as humans and some people forget to get back to the fun. So our first point in this episode is, are you having fun in your partnership? And what does that even look like?
And I think a big part of it too is that adulthood, becoming a parent, jobs, I think those things slowly take the fun out of life. It just like squeezes you of the things that used to be fun, because instead of going out for a night, you're like, I should really go to bed early so I can wake up and be productive at work, instead of, having fun and going for one more drink or, taking the long drive home, whatever it is with your partner. It's like, you know what? I really want to get home because I miss my kids. I want to tuck them in. I have this crazy mom guilt. So it just like slowly happens in some cases.
I wouldn't stay up late. I wouldn't have more than 2 drinks. I was just like locked in because it was survival mode. Like, I felt like I had to be. And also you're thinking the baby's going to wake up at 1 a.m. I need some sleep before that.
Well, and there's worry because you're taking care of other human beings now. It's not just you or just you and your partner. You're actually taking care of other human beings. There is worry with it. And then just the productivity of it, fun isn't quote unquote productive. Like, you're not generally getting stuff done. So when you're thinking about, okay, there's this whole house to clean, all these meals to make, work to do, or I can go and have fun, it can be very, very easy to be like, you know what, I'm going to choose productivity.
Yeah. And his point was, wait, what if fun is actually so enhancing to your marriage? It's so important. It's actually not optional. If you want to be happy, if you want to be healthy, if you want to get along well with your partner. So we took an inventory. When are we really having fun with our partners? What does that look like? What are small everyday examples and what are big examples?
And I was talking with Colin about it and we agreed on some, and then he brought up a few that I'm like, oh, I didn't realize.
No,
I didn't realize that.
For me.
Oh, okay, cool. When we are planning something for the future, we both have a ton of fun. And I just get this pep in my step. I get really excited about a trip, a home improvement, something that we could do as a family, even on a weekend, just something smaller that we could do even on the weekend. I get really excited about it. And he's like, you are just so much more fun. You push the worries to the side. You don't notice the little pesky things and you're so much more fun. I'm like, okay, part of that's a diss, but part of that's also really good and awareness of me doing that.
Honestly, if you're watching this, you're giving me complete Monica Geller vibes right now. Cause like you're very intense. Do you feel it's like, because every day, I mean, I'm around you almost every single day. You always have a to-do list in your head.
Right.
Do you feel like you're a person that is good at having fun?
Well, and that's when you said marriage and then kids, when you said the kids were the part, mine happened before that. And I think it was, part of it was
when you were
in college. I mean, in college, I graduated a semester early and I worked my butt off for it for no good reason. Like I look back and I'm like, to save a semester of college, I was paying for my college myself. So to maybe save a semester of tuition, was that the reason why? So I could start making money earlier. Like, what was that was
absolutely for sure your drive.
So
and you also bought a house as soon as you could. Like you were locked into growing up. Basically.
I was locked in to making the financial moves to becoming an adult, and those things served me really well, but they also weren't fun. You know,
took 5 years to graduate college and had the time of my life.
So we talked often with people from lacrosse, and many of them did take 5 years. A lot of them were athletes, especially. So they maybe registered their first year. They could play extra. They just took their time because it was fun. And I'm like, I didn't have that same experience. I had a lot of fun in college, but I would be the person that would choose, I'm not going to drink as much tonight so that I can make sure to wake up tomorrow and study or to actually get stuff done. So I remember that in my mind, actually doing that. And when I was on TikTok University, and of course, when you start to say things out loud, the algorithm starts to serve you. And I was watching this researcher who said that people who pride themselves on being a high achiever oftentimes have less fun. And then he went into all these different pieces of how fun is messy, how fun is unproductive, how fun is spontaneous, fun is losing control. And all of those things are downright scary for me.
Yeah.
All those things do not come naturally for me. So do I have fun in life? I do. Could I have a lot more? Absolutely. Like there's so many areas of my life where I'm like, I could be just enjoying this so much more instead of choosing the productive task instead. So that's like what I was thinking of. But yeah, Colin was talking about, I mean, just like the funny little things. We poke fun at each other a lot. So we have a lot of inside jokes. We do a lot of making fun of each other. And we like that about our relationship. You guys do the same thing. Also, when the kids aren't around or when they're behaving really well, it's just easier to have fun. He goes, it is also easier when the house is clean or when there's not a long to-do list. The fun is so much easier for you to have. And I'm like, I agree with that. Like when I don't see other things that I have to do, I can lay back, I can relax, I can actually enjoy the moment a whole lot more. So those are the things that I thought of.
Okay. I text Drew, Abby and I, when we're preparing for these episodes, we're like, okay, let's both text our husbands. Like, when do you have fun with me? And Drew's response was vacation. Okay. That's kind of crazy because we go on like one vacation a year. So then I said, maybe some more, like, give me some more examples. I'm actually going to pull up my text right here because I can't remember. He goes, I said, maybe between vacations, is there any fun? He goes, lots of fun. And then he said, any type of date with you, really. So for Drew, I think his fun really comes when the kids are not around, because I think because parenting is so, you're so half in, half out, like you always kind of have an eye on your kids, what they're doing, like what they need type of thing. I think he's like you, where his fun really is like, if I have a break and I'm able to get out of this house, then I'm going to have fun. I think that Drew and I have a lot of fun all the time, not to be offended by his answer, but like we're always joking around. This morning, I woke up earlier than I like to, and Drew was still in the bathroom. I will quick read through, my feed a little bit. And I saw that John Harbaugh is going to the Giants. And so Drew comes from the bathroom. It's pitch black because he thinks I'm sleeping. And then I go, did you know John Harbaugh is going to the Giants? And he starts laughing so hard because he's not expecting my voice and he's not expecting me to be like an ESPN reporter for him. And he goes, I actually did see that. And then we're both laughing. And it's like, we both love sports. We both love the same things. We love being active. So I think we're having a lot of fun all the time. I think Abby and Drew, again, are very similar where they want to work and then they want to play. And I don't think that that's necessarily wrong. I think the interesting thing, the difference between you and Drew is he did have a lot of fun. Not that you didn't, but like he had a hoot in college. He stayed 5 years, even though he is type A, high achiever, firstborn personality. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like slightly sad that your adulthood started so fast and early, because even with his personality, he really had a hoot. And then, you know, when a lot of us got our first jobs, we're like, okay, we'll lock in a little bit. Still had a lot of fun on the side. But yeah, I guess for us, I think the point here is there was a time in my marriage where when Drew would say his little jokes that I now find funny again, sometimes I would be kind of annoyed. So if you are in this phase where you're finding your partner, for me, it was like I was finding him, I was more impatient and annoyed with him than my typical personality during those years. And I wish I would have just given us both way more grace to make the transition to parenthood. And now, as it lays today, it's like you just find little opportunities. Like, is there a show that you guys like? Right now, we're watching a comedy together and we're laughing and it's fun. You know, do you really like sports? Like, we were having a blast during the Packer game while it was going well. We jump up, we celebrate together. We're like dancing in a circle. Like, you're having fun. Like, what are those little opportunities? Because in my opinion, the date nights and the vacations, they don't happen that often. Mm-hmm. So it can't be your only source of fun.
There's also so many opportunities when your kids are there. As you were bringing that up, I was thinking about car rides. So Colin loves to travel. I mean, we went on that 8-day RV trip because he likes to travel so much, loves to be in a car, loves to be in the driver's seat. When the kids are in the back, either entertained or quiet or listening to music or sleeping, there's so much good conversation that can happen in those things. So we will often take the long way home. And that's something we never did when our kids were little. It was always like race to the finish line, like try to get home as fast as we possibly can. During Christmas, for instance, we would go and just look at Christmas lights in random neighborhoods, or we would go and see the sunset from a different area. And I just say those things because it's sometimes like the 5 minutes that you can put into your day that can really be like, how can I not be just productive in this and actually have a little bit more fun? What would I have done before kids? Yeah. And that's a really good question, because I do think that somewhere in adulthood, maybe it was earlier like me, maybe it was later like Amy, somewhere in adulthood, we started trading fun for ROI. And we started trading the things that we need to do instead of the things that we want to do. Yeah. And where can we start to do more things that we want without having to have an ROI on it?
Yeah. And, you know, for us, even when your kids are around, this past summer, we would play football in the backyard as the sun set. And Drew and I are out there and I'm like blocking Drew, and it's so fun. Like, I loved it. So there are opportunities when your kids are around. Obviously ours are a little bit older, but I think wherever you are, you have to enjoy your life, because it's going by and nothing is ever going to be all the way done. Right. Like, that's the thing. We've been working on that mindset for a long time. Once your to-do list is done, laundry is a great example. Everyone's wearing clothes and you're going to have more laundry. Like, it's just, that's the way life is. So try to enjoy it. Abby and I, when we sat back and thought about this episode, we kind of came up with like the 3 big points we wanted to make in terms of in what areas of life does this have a big impact. So marriage was right away. It was from TikTok, like that was the example. But then working off of that, we also thought about friendships, because I do think friendships also get stuck in patterns, and if we may, stuck in a rut where you're doing the same thing over and over. You're having the same conversation over and over. Everyone's getting together. This is a good example for marriage too. Everyone's getting together and saying, how is work? How are the kids? You know, same questions. So we thought within friendship, How do you bring more fun to your friendship?
We do a good job of this, Amy.
Yeah.
We really do a good job of this. Yeah.
I think that experiences are very bonding. These can be really simple. So
extremely simple.
One that we thought of is when you're getting together with a friend. And like, believe me, we like to sit down sometimes too. So if you really love that, please sit. We were like, honestly, coffee and a walk. Like if you want to catch up, I did this with my friend Rachel, can I bring you a coffee? And we just go for a walk, and we did it. And it was such a fun conversation. Her dog got in a dog fight while we were walking. Like there was a lot of action. It was a lot of fun. So something like that, instead of just like maybe sitting there, do you want to do something that you would both enjoy? Because I think in our age category, people get stuck in a rut where a lot of times you're going to dinner and you're having the same conversation. Dinner, we love a dinner.
We do.
Have,
that can be
vary the topics. Everyone's kids might be fine. We don't always have to talk about how Jimmy's reading, like let's have some fun and make it about us.
When we have groups of friends that we all have different conversations with those groups of friends too, which is kind of fun. So depending on the group of friend that you're going with, it could be a different part of you that's coming out, a different side of you that's coming out, which is also really fun just to reintroduce yourself to the sides of you that you may have missed for a really long time. And I do think that fun can really do that. Something that Amy and I have recently picked up is rollerblading. And maybe you're not a rollerblader, but that was such a fun thing to do together too.
Because we're not done with it.
It is so much fun. And it's a way that it's not as hard as running, because it's hard to have a really good long conversation while running. And right now you and I aren't running for an hour and a half together, but can we rollerblade for an hour together? Absolutely. Yeah. And then you just get to go so much further. So we're just like,
it's just kind of like a goofy, it's kind of like a goofy hobby. So you can't be dead serious when you're doing it.
Cars that go by are looking at us like, are those two almost 40-year-olds rollerblading? Yes, those are moms rollerblading. That's what it is.
So that has been so fun. We would usually do it when it gets nice again. We do it on a Friday. We go out, we rollerblade. We're talking the whole time. It's silly. Like one of us is probably gonna, and it's me, gonna fall. Like it's just a really fun time. We were talking about how Abby and I last year started going to hot yoga for a while. And it was funny because a bunch of our friends were like, wait, invite me. And that led us to believe, are a lot of women just waiting to be invited to something enjoyable, invited to something fun? Do you have to be that friend in a group that's like, you know what? Hell yeah, you guys, we're going to hot yoga at 11 on Wednesday at this location. If anyone can come, invitation. And making that first move, or like, okay, do you guys want to go hiking on Saturday, the whatever? We've done that with a group of friends. You throw the date out there. We understand it's hard for people to make dates, so you got to do it ahead of time. Do you need some experiences to kind of up level the friendships? Now, of course, there's also things like book club. We went to a book club for a while. Those women are having a hoot. They're still so close. They meet every week. There's so many different experiences and fun to be had with your friends.
I also love that those types of experiences, you might go with one friend or two friends, and then you meet a whole bunch of other friends. And so it's just a way that you can see other people that are loving the same things that you are. And then maybe you bond over something else like rollerblading or hot yoga, but you're going for one thing and then you're able just to meet so many more people. So it's just it's a much easier way, I feel, when you have limited time, limited energy. It's just a way to have more fun and be able to do it a lot quicker.
Also, please note that on my notes, Abby wrote decluttering as an example.
So we were saying that we were talking about the things that you can bond over that you both like, but also be open for the things that you might not have ever done before. So yeah, the thing on there, I wrote down decluttering a house. I had my college friends run a 5K with me for my birthday. So like, hey, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I wanted to run a 5K. One of them had never really been a runner and had to try really hard. The other one,
wait, did you guys run together?
We ran together for part of it, and then we all got to do our own race at the end. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun, and it was a way that we could all train for the same thing. We were all talking about the same thing. Some people decided to walk during it. Some people ran the whole thing, but at the end, we were all able to celebrate together. And it was something that a few of them had never done before, but reintroducing them. I do think that one of them has never run a 5K since then. So maybe not a repeat thing, but at least you try it. At least you try something new.
One thing that's really fun and obviously harder, but if you ever vacation with your friends, like we went on a big Arizona vacation in October for Drew's 40th. We surprised him and we had the time of our lives. I mean, truly, it was such high energy. Everyone was having so much fun. We still have little jokes and stories about that weekend. I mean, obviously it wasn't that long ago, but also we vacationed to Puerto Rico with our friends.
Yes,
and that
years
was
ago.
2023, I think.
Yeah.
Still have the funniest stories. We still talk about it all the time. It's like these things bond you. It's a shared experience. You're all together. You're, one of the stories is like I had to catch Cole's puke in my hands on a little bus and I didn't know what to do with it. It was just like a bowl of puke because he got car sick. You're winding, you're up and you're down. They drive different there. So that's a big one. Obviously, you don't all have to run out and book a friend trip, but like, could you? Like we're talking about a summer trip just down to Chicago with a couple friends, it's just like, it's those things that someone has to say it out loud. Like I went to a concert with my friends, like it was the best time. Someone's got to say it out loud and then you have to say yes or no. And then you have to do it and don't find a reason to cancel. Like unless literally there's something absolutely melting down within your family. I'm going to go if a kid has strep throat because they are going to be okay. And Drew is more than capable of handling that at home. So truly, I know it's like a meme and it's like funny, like people love to cancel. It's like, no, if these are my girls that I love, I'm not canceling. I will not cancel. I want to be there.
And I also understand the not having energy beforehand, but when you leave those situations, you almost always have energy and are so glad that you went. And like, that's the part, if you're in a friend group that when you leave, you're not enjoying it. Okay, that's a different story. But when you go to it and you're so filled and you have the awesome conversations afterwards, it just makes it feel like I need to start doing this more. I also think about 20s. We've been talking about just different seasons of our life. In your 20s, people are getting married. People are having baby showers. There's bachelorette parties. There's always a reason to get together. There's always a reason and a time and a date that you plan for. In your 30s, definitely in your 40s, it's a lot harder to do that. So sometimes you have to make the event. You have to make the situation for you because there's not something that's already planned out there.
Absolutely. The last thing about friendship that we talked about is energy. So this episode is about having fun and enjoying your life. We've probably all been in friendships where you go to the dinner and like we always say, there's always a caveat in these episodes where like, of course people go through hard times. I'm not going to ditch Abby when, she gets a Down syndrome diagnosis. Obviously I'm going to be there for her when she is really sad for a period of time. Obviously, that's not what we're talking about. But if you're going to dinner, you've got this standing date with a friend and you're going to dinner every freaking time she is really negative and there's something wrong and it's just the next thing and you're thinking in your head, that's really not a big deal. You got to like have a little gumption in your life. There's energy suckers in this world. And that is just the truth of the matter. And I just think it's really hard because I do believe our time is really precious. Like I tell Abby all the time, I'm like, I'm not going to dinner with someone that I don't really want to go to dinner with. Like because I have such limited time, because I do love to be home. I'm only going to say yes when it's like, hell yeah, I want to spend time with them. I will get a babysitter for them. Like I want to be there. I'm all in. So I want everyone else to be all in. And obviously we can talk about serious things. I think the most fun, that one dinner we were at Tempest with a group of friends. We were laughing so hard, but we also had some really serious, really sad conversations. It's the dynamics of life to be able to like go to that dinner and have, there's highs, there's lows, there's in between. It's giving.
It's giving. Brene Brown talks about candle blowouters and how we all have that candle and how we all have this light. And sometimes it's going to be brighter. Sometimes it's going to be more dim, but be around the people that are helping that fire stay bright. Don't be around the people that are blowing out that flame. And I do think it's so important. And we get it. Like it's hard. It's hard to have friendships. It's hard to maintain friendships, but you will have so much more fun if you can be around the people that are just helping to ignite you. And yes, those groups. When you can go from, hey, how are your kids to what's your deepest struggle in marriage, but then actually have a really good follow-up with it, it's just so filling. It's so fulfilling.
And then laugh. And, Abby and I, one thing we do, like we poke fun at each other, just like in marriage. It's like, if you can be self-deprecating, if you can understand when you're like, it's
a little dramatic
in a friendship, when you can be like, okay, that's the type of vibe. And I will say, as we exit the friendship portion of the conversation, honestly, sometimes it's look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, am I bringing any fun? Am I bringing any fresh ideas to this friendship? Because sometimes, we're always deferring, and it's sometimes for us, it's our turn to be like, do you want to go on a hike? I'd love to go on a hike. Let's do it. Just think about that instead of thinking like it's someone else's job. So that's an important one. This last one. Okay. So we did marriage, we did friendship, and now we're going to talk about parenthood. And I actually think that this one is so big because, again, especially I would say during the school year, moms and dads are like, okay, they got to get home, got to do their 15 minutes reading. They've got to do this. We've got to get to practice. We got to get home from practice. We got to get them into the shower. We got to get them into their pajamas. They've got to brush their teeth. They've got to be to bed at 8. And it's just a checklist every day for the rest of your life. And you're just not bringing any like fun, also like any sort of deviation from the plan, from the perfect plan.
It's the spontaneity of it.
And I think it would be so much better for your family if you were able to like sometimes let your hair down with your kids and have a little fun.
And it's hard. We get it. Like it is hard. And also if you've been in a pattern, like for instance, I'm in a pattern, especially when Colin was traveling all the time, where I'm like, I'm on my own. This ship has to run. It has to run exactly as planned. Otherwise, if something falls through the cracks, kids are going to bed at 10 o'clock and then we're waking up the next day and we're crabby and blah, 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 blah. Would that always happen? No. But in my mind, I'm like, if this doesn't go right, then what's going to happen tomorrow? It's just so interesting because fun is literally the solution for so many of the things that you might be thinking that you're a crabby mom or that you're overstimulated or that, parenthood isn't fun. And when you think about the things that you can pull into it, things like laughter, it lowers cortisol. Things like play, it actually increases your oxytocin. When you're thinking about dopamine and trying to get a quick hit from TV or Instagram or, alcohol, whatever it is, trying something new increases dopamine. So kids are literally the perfect example of wanting to have fun all the time. Our kids are always hoping to try something new. They're always hoping to be a little bit silly. They're always hoping to be a little bit messy. And if you can invite yourself and let yourself actually get into it with them, you will have more fun in parenthood. You won't be as crappy as a parent. You won't feel as overstimulated, but you do have to say yes to it and allow yourself to do it.
Yeah. And when you're talking, like the thing is, we all had examples of, or most of us had examples of parents. And for me, my dad was so much fun.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That was such a good example for me. So I think this comes easier because I had the model of a parent that had so much fun with his kids, joked around, played, like so much fun. I think that sometimes women are really hard on themselves in this category, but maybe your parents demonstrated this like, tighter run ship and fun wasn't the priority in your house. It is hard to change a pattern over one generation and be like, you know what? Oh my gosh, I never really think of what are we going to do for fun?
As you say that, I don't like to pull the oldest daughter thing in, but I'm like, did my fun kind of start to go down when I was younger because of my parents not running a tight ship and me being, kind of in charge, more in control of some things and knowing that I did have to take control over some things, otherwise they wouldn't get done. And so just fun replacing productivity because I wasn't able to do that. I don't know. Like right. It is interesting thinking about childhood and where things.
We're like, woo!
This is the life. This is the way.
If something we forgot something, they're like, oh well, and it just was that energy where it just wasn't like nothing was ever dire,
Okay.
Because like sometimes my jerseys weren't clean either, but they're like, oh, I'll throw it on. There we go. Toss it in the dryer for a sec with and so that was my example. I would love to give myself credit, but really it's like, that's just exactly how I was raised. So thinking about like, okay, sometimes as a parent too, here's what I would float past you. You can get what you want while also getting your kids what they want. Here's what I'll say. Like sometimes in the spring when I'm like, shoot, I haven't really moved as much as I would want to. I'll be like, Max, do you want to race me around the house a couple times? And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, everyone's racing around the house. The neighbor kid's racing me. It's like, have you ever raced a kid? Have you raced a kid? It's so fun. Because they're trying hard, you're trying hard. Like you can see it's much easier to go around the corner when you're smaller. Yes. They're way closer to the ground, but you're going to try your best because we're way faster at straightaways and you're just having a hoot on the playground, it's like, I honestly might get in a couple pull-ups because it's like, I want to do that, but I'm still like in the game. So for this section, we asked our kids, and I only got to ask 2 of them because this was yesterday. When do you have the most fun with mom? And it was really funny because it was Max and Trey. So my 2 older kids, they were both like, I don't know, they're perfect boys. But then Trey was like, when you're throwing me the football. You know, like when we're outside and you're throwing me the football. Max said watching Packer games. You guys probably know, like, we are true hardcore Packer fans to the point where it really impacts our moods. And when we're happy, we're jumping up and down. We celebrate every touchdown. We're dancing in a circle. We're like so silly about it. So that was really cute. And then Trey outside playing football. It's like, go out there. We have to get things done, but life is playing with your kids. You know, it's not like my house is perfect and then I'm outside. It's like I might say, hey, hold on, I am going to load the dishwasher before I can come, but I'll be right out there. And then we go out there. We have the time of our lives. It is so much fun.
Well, and it's also really hard when there's a kid who's like, just play with me, just play with me, just play with me. And you're like, all I have to do is, finish vacuuming. All I have to do is this. And you're trying to do 2 things at once and you're getting frustrated. They're getting frustrated. It honestly, I mean, sometimes loading the dishwasher is like, just let me do this. It's going to be 2 minutes. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? This task can actually wait. That's when I find that I'm having the least fun in motherhood, is when I'm trying to multitask.
Oh, yeah.
And so sometimes it's like, you know what? This task can wait. This kiddo really wants to play. And honestly, when you come back from playing, you're in such a better mood that the mundane task of whatever it is seems like it's a lot more fun. When I asked our kids, Micah did the exact same thing, where he's like, I like when you take me to other play dates. I'm like, so you like when I'm not even with you? But then Lucy, she gave it a little bit more thought, and she said she really likes when we do things together. And it's hard because we do have 3 kids, but she goes, you are so much more fun. You laugh so much when it's just the 2 of us. And she brought up, going to Starbucks, going to Target, riding the escalator. At Target, there's an escalator, and she wouldn't even have to go shopping. Just even riding the escalator is super fun. And she goes, Mom, I even like even just when you're braiding my hair. And so much of it was just the 2 of us, which I'm like, oh, that's wonderful because I can do more of that. But it's also hard because it is just the 2 of us then. So it was just a little bit of a tricky one because I know I need to do more of that. But with 3 kids, it just can be really, really difficult.
Absolutely. But I would also say for this one too, don't be afraid to be a little silly. For example, when we're at Land of Natura or Noah's Ark, like Abby and I, we're on every slide. Our hair is wet. We're like, we look crazy. We're racing kids on obstacle courses. It's like, allow yourself to have that kid spirit. Noah's Ark is still so fun. Shout out if they want to sponsor. Let yourself have fun at those places, because then your kids' experience is like truly, they remember how much fun you had. I certainly remember how fun my dad was. Basically, Noah's Ark is this huge water park in Wisconsin. So when you're doing something like that, I would really say, let your hair down.
Literally.
Have so much fun. Soak that day in. Like, it is a day that is made for fun. So at those, or when you're on vacation, it's like, yes, of course, every parent has stress on vacation. Don't forget to have fun.
Yeah.
Don't forget to just lean in and be like, you know what? 4 things went wrong, but today it's our beach day and I'm just going to like fully lean into this.
And take it from someone who knows fighting it's not going perfectly takes so much more energy than just being spontaneous and leaning into it. And the same thing, I mean, I had to manage my energy for years when I was struggling with my autoimmune condition really bad. And all of it was, okay, if I go for this run, then I won't have energy afterwards. If I play with my kids, I won't have energy afterwards. I promise you, having fun gives you more energy. Yeah. You leave sprinting around the bases, after baseball practice, sprinting around the bases, seeing who can win, you leave with more energy. So I know sometimes fun can seem like it's a lot of work. I know sometimes fun can seem like it takes a lot of planning, that it's not productive, that it's inefficient, that it's optional. That it's optional. It is not, you guys, it is not. It is literally the key to so many of the things that we are missing out on in life.
And to close out, we're just going to give you like really rapid fire examples of ways to have fun with your kids, because I like these. 5 minutes of hide and seek. Honestly, 1-2 rounds. It'll be so much fun. A dance party. I know you guys are obsessed with these.
Every night.
Inside jokes. Like literally my kids and I have so many inside jokes where we're constantly, they make fun of me a little bit. I make fun of them a little bit. It's a really good energy when you can have some humor in your household. Doing driveway soccer, driveway basketball, driveway chalk, anything that you guys want to do that your family has fun with. Baking or dinner help. My kids, the way they love to bake is crazy. They absolutely love it. They always want to make cookies. Like they're just they they love it. They have so much fun doing it. Trey loves to cook. Like I think it's so cool. He really enjoys that. Doing like a little cartoon drawing competition with your family, doing a coloring competition, doing whatever it is that you guys want to do. These are fast ideas.
So fast.
You don't have to buy anything. These are things that you have at home. Just permission to have fun with your kids because all of the work is going to be there. Like, I think that's my main point of the episode. I think, you know, obviously at this stage, we have so much to do and there's very high achieving people listening. Even a lower achieving person, I totally get it. Like, I'm overwhelmed sometimes with the amount of stuff that we have to do, but fun is enhancing, it's energy giving, it's relationship giving. And we don't find it to be optional.